Well, Kings fans, we'll always have last year. The playoffs were fun. We'll see you back in 16 years. Time to retire the beam, for the beam team is dead. We've been restored back to our rightful place as the meme team. No, just kidding. Although, I've seen this movie before. Now, big difference with this movie compared to the past versions is we have actual movie stars. Two of them, in fact, and a coach of the year. So I'm not panicking yet, but I am pretty fucking pissed. Fox being out should not mean we're the worst team in the league. What just happened in Houston is fucking embarrassing. This Kings team should be embarrassed. And while everyone on Twitter is looking for guys to blame, there's not just one guy you can use as a scapegoat. It's the whole team. With that said, though, Davion Mitchell is basically Frank Mason. Tell me how Frank Mason is any worse than Davion Mitchell. Sure, Davion's shot looks better, but in those two games as a starter against the Rockets, he scored 12 points in 53 minutes, 5 of 18 from the field, 2 of 9 from 3. Sure, he's not a scorer. He's a defensive specialist, right? Well, wrong, actually, or at least so far this season. Because his on off splits, like how well the team does with him on the floor compared to how they do with him off the floor, is really bad. With Davion Mitchell off the floor, the Kings are outscoring their opponents by almost 8 points per 100 possessions. However, with Davion Mitchell on the court, the Kings are being outscored by almost 25 points per 100 possessions. How is that possible? He has a net rating differential of negative 32.6. That doesn't even sound real. The only game this season where he's recorded a positive plus minus was in the first game of the season against the Jazz. He was supposed to give other teams off nights. Kings go off the fucking rails as soon as he checks in. Or in the case of the last 3 games, as soon as the game begins, because he is our starting point guard while Fox is injured. And I'll talk about that more in a second. But before I do that, I do want to mention, as bad as Davion has been, it's not his fault that we are terrible right now. Has he played a pretty big role in this team's sudden free fall? Absolutely. But are there 14 other guys who have failed to step up? Yes. And let's talk about some of them. Where the fuck is Domantas Sabonis? You are an all NBA player. Fucking act like it. Domas needs to do Mas. Sorry, that was awful. But you know what? So are the Kings. And as the only other star player on this team, a lot of the blame has to fall on Sabonis' shoulders. I mean, he just absolutely disappeared in Houston. Domantas Sabonis has turned into Costa Kufis. In the 2 losses to the Rockets, he had more turnovers than field goals. Can't have that from a guy we just gave $200 million to. And another guy who just got paid, Harrison Barnes, our starting power forward, is averaging 2.3 rebounds per game so far. Unacceptable. 46.4% from 3, that's amazing. But we have plenty of shooters. None of them are making their shots, of course, but we should all expect that to average out soon in our favor. What we don't have are guys who can rebound the ball, aside from Domas, so we need more than 2 fucking rebounds per game from our starting power forward. But back to the whole shooters who can't fucking shoot right now. Let's go down the list. There are 4 guys, not including HB, who I just talked about, who are on this team because one of their absolute best skills is knocking down threes. Kevin Huerter, our starting shooting guard, is shooting 24.2% on 5.5 attempts per game. Keegan Murray, another starter, but a guy we all genuinely had really high hopes for coming into this season, is shooting 26% from deep on over 8 attempts per game. Sasha Vezenkov, whose expectations were definitely different depending on what Kings fans he talked to, but regardless, he was brought over from Greece to knock down threes. He is shooting 27.3% from behind the arc. And lastly, we got Malik Monk. He can definitely do a lot of other things, but a big part of his game is his clutch shooting from deep. He's actually shooting 40% from 3, but only 42.6% from the field. Point being, our shooters, our scorers, are not scoring. And without Fox to clutch up and save us, this Kings team looks lost. They don't have an identity right now. And I know Fox is amazing, he should be all NBA again, but how many times in the last 15 years did a team come into Sacramento without one of, if not multiple, of their star players and blow us out? I remember that happening a lot. Good teams find ways to win without their best player, especially when the team they are playing is a fucking lottery team. But the thing I'm most upset about is, you get punched in the mouth in that first game on Saturday, and then you come back Monday and let the same guy fucking knock you out and leave with your girl. I mean, where's the pride? Where's the self-respect? We should not be at a point 6 games into the season where Keon Ellis finishes as the team's leading scorer. Shit like this is why the Kings never have and never will gain the respect of the NBA world. The shit pisses me off. I thought we were past this, but no, it's the same bullshit I've been watching my entire fucking life. They better get this shit fixed fast. Got a very winnable game at home tonight, although I don't know if we can even say things like that anymore. I'll be watching, but I'm not happy about it. Please, God, can we light the beam?